Hey guys, Waterfowler41 here, and we have an exciting first. So this is the first Jeep on my channel. Kind of thought I would have had a Wrangler on here by now, but we have a Cherokee L, so we're going to roll with it. So this 2021 Cherokee L is owned by my friend, and our kids all play hockey. And the other day at the rink, he saw the Canvasback liners we have in our Palisade, which is right over there. And since they just picked up this car and they want to keep it looking good for the next, 120,000 miles, he went ahead and picked up a set of Canvasbacks, so figured let's take advantage of the opportunity and show how those install, because they install slightly different than how the Palisade was. There's a little bit more steps involved with installing it here on the Jeep than we had with the Palisade. So here is the kit he went with, and this is all three rows. So we have the back liner for the trunk area, we have seat backs for the third row, and then we have seat backs for the two captain seats. So this is going to give you all the Canvasback protection from basically here all the way up to the front edge of that seat. And then on top of that, because we do a lot of tailgating, because we always have the kids at the rink, they're always sitting on the bumper in between games and whatnot, he went ahead and picked up that lip as well. So we have that kind of bib looking thing that velcros right here, hangs over the bumper. That way when you're dragging bags out of the bumper and you have this prone edge here, you're not going to be bashing that. You're basically going to be using that Canvasback canvas as your protection. So I mentioned that the install of this kit is slightly different than the Palisade. It's still pretty easy, but there is an added step. So let's take a look at the back here. Because of the type of carpet that Jeep uses on the inside of these vehicles, Velcro doesn't stick very well to it because it's really small fibers, basically like a microfiber. And if you ever tried to stick a microfiber to Velcro, it just doesn't work very well. So what we have to do is, instead of just taking the Velcro and just basically slapping it down here, it's not going to stick. So what we need to do is install our own Velcro. So they give you this self-adhesive or adhesive backed Velcro that we need to adhere to the edges here, and that will allow the Canvasback to then stick to the surface. The caveat here is you really only get one shot to place this the correct way. So you need to make sure you're double, triple, quadruple checking your locations before you actually install it. Also, make sure you clean the heck out of the interior of your car. Go ahead and take an extra day or two to make sure you vacuum and you use a carpet cleaner just to get all that dirt out of there if you've had your car for a while. Fortunately, this car has been owned for a couple weeks here, so it's still very clean. We just vacuumed out all the dog hair that was in here. But other than that, it's good to go. But like I said, a little bit different than the Palisade because the Palisade stuck directly to the carpet, whereas this you need to use the adhesive backing. Not the end of the world. It's still pretty easy. You cannot mess this up because these seat backs are cut to fit the shape of the seats, but you just need to make sure that you're double checking. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the front and work our way back. So we're going to start with the front seats here, and then we're going to go to the third row seats, and then we'll go to the trunk area because basically everything kind of overlaps itself. And then from there, we'll throw on that little apron that goes on the back, or that skirt or whatever that goes on the back, and then we're done. But like I said, super simple installation, but let's dive into it. All right, so we're going to start with the captain seats. So the way you install these is, again, you need to pull the Velcro off of here, and then you're going to work with installing this first, and then you're going to lay the actual canvas back on. So all of this has adhesive on the back, and like I said, you got one shot to really get these installed in the right location. So double, triple, quadruple check where you're putting these things before you actually install it. But one thing you could do, especially with these seats, is there is a cutout that goes around the seatbelt holder here, or the recliner trim, and as long as you go around that, everything else will line up perfectly. So then you get the canvas around the actual plastic molding here, then it'll go around the little seatbelt or the car seat tie down, and then the last piece you should finish up with is this long piece in the back. So the way we're going to do this is we have a piece of Velcro that goes here, piece of Velcro that goes here, and then when you get on the lower part of the back, you get a piece of Velcro here, here. We're going to install the Canvasback all together with all those on, and then we'll move the seat forward, and then we'll do the rear. We'll do the rear last because that way we can pull everything nice and taut just like that guy is. So there is a Velcro here, here, down at the bottom, and then right on that little corner there. And then we laid everything, installed it, moved the seat forward, and then we went ahead and did the last piece. It fits nice and snug. It's good protection. So let's go ahead and install this guy. Okay, so we had the Velcro installed. We got everything pushed down. Just make sure you don't see any sort of rolls or anything like that on the Velcro adhesive. But everything is cinched down pretty nicely here. So the next thing we're going to do then is take the Canvasback itself, Velcro it up here, Velcro it here, pull everything down towards the bottom of the seat just to make sure we get everything nice and taut. Use this little car seat anchor and this little plastic trim molding as your reference points for making sure that everything's located properly. Then the last thing we're going to do once we get that guy installed is we're going to install this piece, and that's where we're going to slide the seat forward so we can get access to the back, undo, pull the Velcro off of here, and then we're going to go ahead and install it. Super simple, so let's do it. Captain seats are installed, so don't worry about the folds or anything like that. Over time, those are going to come out once your car gets heated up and goes through a few thermal cycles. But everything's good to go on the captain seats, so we got both of them done. We're going to work on the third row seats, and then we'll dive into the rear. Super straightforward. Put the adhesive down, put the canvas back on top of it, finish up with the back part of it. Let's do the third row. All right, so now we're going to start on the third row. So there's the back of the car. We're sitting in front of the rear seat. So this is the top of the back seat, and this is the bottom of it. Very similar to the front captain seats. These are going to Velcro on. So you're going to get one piece of Velcro for the top that goes here, a little strip here, a little strip here, there, and then one on the bottom. Now the only tricky part of this is the covers themselves will tuck underneath this rear flap. So you're going to need to hold that up while you're doing the rear portion of the Velcro, but not the end of the world. So similar to front seats, we're going to start with the top strap, then we're going to do the bottom Velcros, and then once we get the canvas back on, then we'll do that final long strip across the bottom of the seat. That way we can pull everything down nice and flat. So one trick with this one, when you're installing these Velcro points, you could line up the cover, and to make sure that you get them in the right spot, just line up the cover loosely right there so you know that the Velcro is going to go here and there. That way you line up things correctly. So let's get everything peeled off here and get the stuff installed. Okay, so we have all the Velcro roughed in, everything's attached, it's all pushed down as best as we can get it for now. What we're going to do now is take the canvas back, we're going to install it on these 5 points, and then I'm going to go ahead and have this held up, and then we're going to put in that last piece of Velcro here, and then this seat's done. And then we'll move on to the rear. All right, so now we're going to work on the final part, which is actually the cargo liner itself. So unlike the fronts where we started at the top and worked our way to the rear of the seat or bottom of the seats, here we're going to start from this long edge here and work our way back because there's a lot of pieces of Velcro that need to go in, and basically you need to install this guy as you're laying down this Velcro. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this bottom edge first, these little trim pieces, and then this guy. That'll get the first portion of the liner installed, ready to go. And then we'll work on installing the Velcro onto the hatches here. Based on how long this is, it looks like it wraps around the edge here. So we're going to need to install this piece of Velcro on this back edge to make sure that it fits properly and everything clears. So like I said, we're going to start here. We're going to go on this edge here. We're going to do this little seam here and then work on the flaps on both sides. It's a bit cumbersome. It's going to want to stick to everything that you hit, but take your time and let's knock it out. Okay, so we went ahead and put that the soft side of the Velcro all along the edge here. Again, this is really your main reference point as well as the handle, but you want that canvas back to be as lined up as possible, or as perfectly aligned with this plastic trim. So you want to make sure you take your time on the Velcro and just kind of shape it as you go through. If you need access to the edge, you can just do that. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add that piece of Velcro that goes across the top here. It goes on this side of the cover, so this little cover removes. That Velcro is going to go right up on this top edge here. So we'll pull it off there, put that guy on, and then we'll do the side ones, and then we could put the bottom portion of the canvas back on here. That way we could work on aligning those flaps on the front of it. So let's go ahead and do that top portion. Might as well go ahead and do the side ones while we're at it. All right, now that we have the Velcro on the front lip, the sides, and then the top portion here, we're gonna go ahead and cinch down that portion of the canvas back, and then I'll pull back the flaps on the front. So this way everything gets located. We can make sure it's as aligned as possible with this front edge, so that when we get to the front and we gotta wrap it around those two plastic containers or two plastic doors there, we have the same amount and everything's lined up perfectly and we don't need to monkey around with it. So let's go ahead and get everything installed here, and then we'll work on those two flaps and then we're done. Okay, now that we have the bottom portion on, still got to pull it taut in a few little areas. We're going to work on doing these last flaps, and then we're done. So this is what it's ultimately going to look like when we're done. Basically, pulls up, it wraps around the edge of that flap. That way, when you fold the seats up, it has something nice to push up and down on. This is how it's going to lay there before you even attach it. So we have 1, 2, 3 pieces of Velcro that we need to attach. First two are going to go on the front portion of it, and then the second one's going to go on this edge of it. So pretty straightforward. So we're just going to line these guys up, put the Velcro down, and rock and roll with the installation. All right, so there is the final product. We got the cargo liner in the back, and like I said, there's going to be some folds in it for a little while until it goes through a few hot and cold cycles. Everything will eventually flatten out. It's like clothes, basically. But we took the canvas, we put that piece of Velcro here, Velcro on the side, all the way around the edge here, and then pulled it up, and this had about an extra inch of canvas in there, so we wrapped it around the edge there, so I put the Velcro on the other side of the flap here. So everything operates as it should. We have our third row there. Then if we go up to our front seats, there's our front seat liner. So everything gives that nice extra layer of protection. So one more view of the car. But that is how you install the Canvasback liners on a Jeep Cherokee L. Okay, I lied. We are not done. There's one last piece. So we have this little apron piece. So you see a bunch of Velcro along this edge. This bumper cover portion is cut to fit that swoop, or that basically shape of the edge here, and it's going to Velcro right here. And that way when you're pulling bags out, you have this flap that goes over your bumper, because like Explorers, like the Palisade, everything has this prone area. It's painted. They don't ever send me with enough protection on this front end of the bumper. So what Canvasback does is they make this little apron side, or skirt, whatever you want to call it, that Velcros here, and it comes in a bunch of different lengths that overlaps the bumper. So if you're sitting here on the tailgate and you want to dangle your legs off or whatnot, or you're pulling stuff out like a cooler or a hockey bag, you're not banging off the edge of the paint. So let's go ahead and get that on. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll finally close this video out. All right, so that's it installed. It's very simple. It's just basically attaching it to the liner in the cargo area and calling it a day. But basically it goes down, and what you could do, and the way we use ours is the kids will put their hockey bags in there, and then we'll take the this little apron thing, and we'll fold it up over the hockey bags. That way, in order to get to the bags, they have to pull it out, and then when they pull their bags out, which are on wheels, it comes down and it hits the canvas, not actually the bumper. So it does provide a pretty good level of protection here. But now, with that said, thank you very much for watching.